Welcome to onSodi.com.
This guided learning video is the introduction to Photoshop. After completing the raw processing courses, we should now be in a good position where we understand about editing raw images, and now it's time to start learning about Photoshop. You may have come to this Photoshop course before completing the earlier raw processing courses. That's okay, but remember a few golden rules about editing photos. Always optimize the histogram of your images in the raw status, making sure that you have a full histogram with minimal highlight or shadow clipping, and try to avoid color clipping as much as you can. It's just so important to make sure that the images that you're opening into Photoshop are of the best possible quality, and that is why raw processing is so important in today's image retouching. If you've never used Photoshop before, or just a little, or even if you are experienced, you will find this course will explain Photoshop in an easy to understand way. The course starts with a guided tour of the Photoshop workspace. The Photoshop workspace is complex, and we will take you through the most important components. The next video will look at image navigation and using shortcuts, as shortcuts save time and it just makes things easier. We repeat the Photoshop workflow introduction video from the opening lesson. This video gives you an overall guidance that you can use as a stepping stone to build the foundations of your Photoshop knowledge. Opening a raw file into Photoshop is the next video, and surprisingly there are many ways to open files into Photoshop. And just to be a little annoying, we will remind you again to make sure that you've processed your files in Camera Raw first. The next 4 videos will look at Photoshop layers, and they are the backbone of Photoshop. It's important to understand layers because if you understand the fundamentals of layers and how layers behave, you will be on the road to successful Photoshop work. Additionally to how layer stacks work, adjustment layers are the secret to non-destructive editing. Adjustment layers are used extensively throughout Photoshop. Even though we are not working with advanced layer structures as yet, it's important to understand this important foundation theory. Following this, we will look at understanding resolution, image size, and cropping. Take your time with these lessons. Just like layers, it's also very important to understand image resolution. And always remember this rule, that a digital photograph is made up of pixels and that resolution is only an output application. And to finish off this course, we will look at saving and exporting files and methods to make sure that you don't overwrite your master files. Take your time with this course. There's a lot of information in here, and if it's new to you, it may take some time and practice to become familiar with it. Keep practicing and experimenting and keep having fun.